So I've received and installed my fixture table plugs from Made by Miller, and I wanted to talk about this. This is it's such a simple idea, and yet I don't think I had run across it until I think the owner, creator of the product, and at least the owner of the website Made by Miller, posted on the Garage Journal forum, and I thought, wow, this is actually something I've been needing. I had been thinking about ways to cover the entire fixture table when I'm not using the fixture aspect, when I'm just using it as a work table. I have a small shop. This is really the only dedicated horizontal work surface that I have. So inevitably I'm assembling or disassembling, parts, and I have fasteners and stuff that drop down through the holes. And I'm chasing them across the floor or trying to find them. So again, I was trying to think of ways to solve this problem where I cover the whole table. The problem then is you lose access to the fixture holes if you are trying to fixture something. The other issue with that approach is inevitably I pile stuff on top of the table, and so if I want to clamp something down real quick, I have to take the whole plate or whatever I have on top and remove it in order to use the table with all the stuff on top of it, which is inconvenient. So this idea is genius. I mean, you can still use any part of the table. You could pop the plugs out and use it for fixturing, or you can use the whole thing as a flat work surface. So anyway, I'm gonna set the camera down here, kind of pull in tight just to show you what this is. So these are 3D printed plugs, and you have to look real close, but there are little cutouts in the side where you can fit a pick. So once you get them installed, you can put your pick in there and pull them out. So this is what it looks like. It's 3D printed. There's a very small little flange around the outside that's beveled, and it's, I suppose, meant to fit the chamfer on the holes. So to install them, you just push them in there. And then what I found is the best method is to use something like a dead blow mallet and give it a good whack. And now it's recessed down in the hole ever so slightly. I installed them all, went through and hammered them all down, and then to double check, I used this straight edge. It's just an aluminum straight edge, and I basically sat it on one end of the table and started dragging it across the table. And in a couple instances, I found where it would hang up, and I would know that the plug was protruding above the top of the table. So I'd go back with the hammer, give it another whack, and seat it down in there. And there were 5 or 6 of them that were like that. When I finished that, the entire table's totally smooth. So here's the packaging. It's kind of cool artwork. These are sold in packs of 100, and you can see on here it's the 16 millimeter Sigmund table, but it turns out that my table, which is a Langmuir arc flat table, also has 16 millimeter holes. So he included a note, actually, handwritten note, which I thought was pretty cool. But one of the things he mentioned is that he's going to update the packaging to reflect the actual table type that these fit. So it just so happens that he shipped these out before he made that update, but it sounds like that update's coming. Anyway, I ordered 2 boxes of 100. It was stupid of me. I didn't count how many holes I had. I just thought, oh, 200, yeah, that's about right. I have a small table, right? Well, it turns out my table has something like 216 or 218 holes, so I'm about a dozen short. I think there were an extra 2 plugs in each box, like 102 per box. So yeah, I'm a half dozen or a dozen holes short. I'll definitely order another box of these just so I have enough to finish, but also so I've got some spares. And I mentioned the pick approach, but my table's small enough and I have access. Like, I can just reach underneath here and pop these plugs out from the bottom, which is even more convenient. You don't have to go back and fish through a drawer for a pick if you need one, right? Anyway, I'm going to try these out long term. You just leave them on here unless I need to clamp something down, in which case I'll, pop the hole out. I imagine that can get a little fiddly, but the alternative, which I've been living with for a while, is, I think, worse. So we'll see how it goes. But in any case, very well made. I'm impressed at how well all of them fit. There are over 200 of these, and I didn't find a single one that had a flaw that prevented it from seating in the hole. So, I don't know if these were individually inspected. That seems a little crazy. Or if just, 3D printers are that good that they're very precise. Every one of them fit fine with no issues. So, yeah, that's my initial thoughts, and I'll circle back with a long-term review after I've had a chance to put them to the test.